All right, team, what's going on? I'm Tim Jenkins, and welcome to All Things QB, where I watch every single clip and break down the most important ones. Today, we've got Bo Nix, Week 4, a huge Monday Night Football win over the Bengals. So without further ado, let's jump into the film. All right, team. First clip we've got for you guys, we've got a nice little boot opportunity. Now, we don't convert it, but I do love the scheme of this, where we motioned a bunch. So you can see here, right, we start here, we motioned a bunch, right, giving us our 3-receiver bunch. We're going to make it look like we're running toss this way, like we're motioning to lead block on toss. Instead, what we've got is we've got our ultra high, we've got our collect shallow, and our deep over, right? We end up getting our 3-layer, 3-level stretch. Our over route ends up popping open. And so I've got this as a no grade because obviously, right, we don't win on the naked. It's called a naked when you leave a guy unblocked because we think he's going to maybe come flying in here more than he does. We don't win on that. So he's running full speed at us. Well, look at the tight, I'm kind of trying to determine if this is a drop or a bad spot, you know? But what I will say is, yeah, we got the motion across. Boom, fake toss. We get out of there. We've got our overrunner running wide open. To me, that's a drop, ladies and gentlemen. So this is not a no grade. This is a good, because that's a good ball. This, we've got just a third down. I love this, right? Third down, running one of your best players across the formation. We would have called this like a cat X shallow, where it kind of feels like 4 verts. Now, I know it's not, right? You can tell what they've got here is they've got a vertical runner, and then they've got a basic runner with the shallow coming. But to me, you get all this sync, right? And a lot of this has to do with, look at this bluff, right? So they've got all these guys up at the line of scrimmage. Well, this guy's got to bail out deep. They're trying to make it look like 0 and then bail out of it. So when those guys are running out of their full speed, they're bailing out of their full speed, then naturally they're going to get probably more depth than they would even if they started at 4 or 5 yards. And then because of that, you can hit that shallow runner, and then Sutton's able to turn up field and go and convert this 3rd and long. Looking at Bo's eyes. Just a great job working his progression, and a really good job from Sutton knowing the down and distance, getting the ball, getting vertical. Yeah. It's a great football play. Really good 3rd down conversion. That's what you want to see. That is what you want to see. Here I've got a boot dime. Darn near identical look. Obviously, it's out of a tight end attached now, right? Instead of that bunch formation. But same thing where we got the motion, making it look like we're leading this way. We've got, this is our shallow runner now. Now this is our deep over, or not our deep over, but our over runner. And then this is our controlled corner. It's crazy. The more football you watch, the more everything is similar, right? But you dress it up. Here's something I love too. I didn't notice at first that they do is this puller. I love pulling guys on boot because I just think it adds to the influence on these linebackers, where you can see these guys stepping up hard. I really think pulling somebody on boot is just a huge advantage. It's a really great job. That is a certified boot dime. Look at this. Boom. Great job getting out of the pocket. That is just a great throw on the run, and it looks so darn easy to him. That's the thing that's exciting is look how easy he makes this thing look, man. Gosh, it's a lot of talent right there. A lot of talent right there. Okay, clip number 4. We got ourselves a little scramble TD. Now listen, concept-wise, we had some openings probably. We probably have Sutton on this shallow. We for sure have Mims on the delayed under. With that being said, I do not mind the decision, right? That's part of what makes Bo so dangerous is how athletic he is. Climbing the pocket vertically, getting out of there, going and scoring. Using your legs as a quarterback in the red zone is always dangerous. Always dangerous. Hard to account for everything as a defense. Really hard to account for this. Good job by the O-line, giving him time. To me, a relatively clean pocket as well. That's pretty darn good. That is pretty darn good. Here we've just got like a little Sutton hitch. I like talking about it because it's a third down, right? You get these third downs, and to me, just having a big-bodied receiver who can win one-on-one. You guys can see the coverage, right? We got man. We've got our center fielder right here. You're going to see Sutton just work up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Little push by at the top. Settle on the hitch. Bo with great timing. What drop does he take? 1, 2, 3 ball. Yeah, that's great stuff. That is really, it's easy, right? Because it's the backside of trips. We're throwing to our X one-on-one, so everybody would think, oh, that's easy. But when you really boil it down, that's just good football. It doesn't have to be complicated to be good, right? Football does not have to be PhD level on every snap to be good football. It could simply be, hey, you got your best receiver one-on-one backside against a corner. We're going to run a hitch. We're going to push him by. We're going to play on time. We're going to convert, move the chains. This one was tough because it's like we got exactly what we wanted. What I would call a scheme dime. And it just doesn't work out. It just does not work out. You're getting single high coverage. You're getting cover 3 here. Okay, we're going to take the roof off with this post. We're going to immediately control the flat right here. And then we're going to sneak our guy right behind it. And it just works out darn perfect. Look at this too. And then why not add a little push, shallow sit to hold this guy inside? That is great. Oh, biscuits. Get to the tight before we really make a judgment on the throw, right? Whether it's a high throw or a drop. It's hard to tell. That one on the broadcast, I know they talked about, okay, hey, that's a little bit sprayed. Also, maybe we kind of like throttled down in the window. To me, this is one that Bo's just he's got to body him up, meaning just slow him down a little bit with the football. It doesn't have to be a perfect football. Slow him down a little bit with it. Just put it on his body him up and move on, right? Like, let's body him up. Let's just body him up, move on. Huge gain. Let's not end with an incompletion on that play, that sort of scheme dime. Let's not have an incompletion there. Is more kind of, to me, the coaching point. Another third down and critical, though, and guess what? Bo converts. Watch him navigate the pocket here. Pocket navigation, find Sutton out there. Oh, man, I love it. Want to get to the tight because the tight, you can really see the pocket climb. Little things NFL quarterbacks do to make everything right. It's just awesome. 1, 2, 3, climb. Look at that, guys. I'm telling you, there's a lot of us just watching right now that just that hand right there would knock you to the ground and probably put you on IR for a couple weeks, right? You wouldn't be mowing the lawn for a couple weeks. You wouldn't be doing your honey-do list. That'd be out the door. We'd be down. Kids would be asking what happened to dad. Instead, he steps right through it, finds a guy, third down conversion, move the chains. Just love it. Here we got a little deep in. Gosh. I feel like we used this motion a lot. Must have saw something on tape that we really liked. So we're going to motion across, right? We're going to start here. We're going to motion across the formation. We're going to run our Y cross here with our dig behind it. Simply reading it 1 to 2. Super common concept. Not complicated. Mike Backer goes and tries to get underneath it, but there's no shot that he's going to beat that football. That's just a great football. Great read, great progression, great ball. Hard to not love this one. Look at this from the tight. Look how good of a throw this is when you really look at that thing. When I get this thing slow mode. You get that little flash action. You can see in his feet where you can see him go cross, deep over. That's playing really good football, knowing where you're going with your feet. And then look at this thing. That's just an absolute missile. Knifing through the center of the defense, hunting with the football. Everything that we want from our quarterback is getting done on this play. This one I just love. I'm going to let it run, but I just love these run adjust screens, man. We had 2 of them. It is making football simple. So look at this. We have our run play called here. Okay, we can block it up right here. Right? We can't account for him. If he decides he wants to come off the edge, we have this little run adjustment outside where we'll flip that thing out there. Bo beats him with the football. And then at that point, it's like you got guys at 4 yards. You know, it's a 6, right? It's a 6-yard run play. That's all it is. Beat him with the football. Run adjust screen. Yeah, I love it. We hit another one later too, which to me was it was huge as well. So I thought we hit those at the correct moment. This one's hard because this one's one of those where I would love for Bo to feel the sink more. Feel these guys bailing out of there and get it to Ingram now, right? That's what I'd love for him to feel. Simultaneously, Ingram has to throttle down a little bit more than what he's doing so that Bo can come to him late. And then at the end of it, it's like Bo is, in my opinion, Bo's late. Ingram doesn't throttle. It's a perfect storm to create this, which is where we complete the ball, but our foot steps out of bounds and we don't get anything. And really, this probably should have arguably been a touchdown. So that's tough. This one, it's literally the next snap. We basically dial up the same exact play just to the opposite side. On this one, instead of the sink, the guy actually falls over. Perfect rub route by number 11. Ingram's wide open. Bo gives it to him. Still, I don't make the argument like slightly late, but I get that he probably felt this guy driving and didn't realize he fell. Ingram does a good job of finishing on the sideline. That's really good. So, yeah, if there's anything to me that we kind of walked out of here going, to me it was we got to get a little bit quicker in terms of getting to our flat routes. To me, we just got to get there a split second split second quicker, right? Is it the biggest deal in the world, in my opinion? No. Is it something that we could do, that we could clean up? Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. This one I've actually got marked as bad-ish. It's the interception. I've actually got it marked as bad-ish, and here's why. It just doesn't... It just doesn't make me that mad, considering the concept doesn't hit, right? The concept doesn't hit. Five's got to do a better job, in my opinion, of kind of picking his guy. Nobody, to me, is terribly open. You could probably body this thing up into Sutton in here. You could try to drive this one. And it's like, to me, he also can't run, right? You're getting all this. I just don't hate it. Like, hey, he's throwing it in there. He's trying to give his guy a shot. Ball gets picked off. Shoot, I tell you what, it's better than fourth down throwing it through the back of the end zone. Am I right? Am I right, Giants fans? So, yeah, I don't hate it. That's why I've got it as a bad-ish. Like, I honestly think if, the play call probably hits a little bit better if we could pick the correct guy. Yeah. You definitely don't want to eat this ball, If he wants to make a run for it, fine. You definitely don't want to eat the football. It's fourth down. Just one of those that I think is hard for me to get really upset about, because it's smarter to try to force it in there and end with the turnover than it is to eat the ball or throw it. Like, it just, yeah. So anyways, we bounce back. We got the deep ball right up the sideline. Biscuits, that's a good throw. Just got verticals. Basically just normal cloud coverage, cover two. Hit it right in the cover two hole shot. That's as good as you're going to see in 2-minute offense. That's, yeah. 3rd and 10. Just fit that thing in there. That's awesome. That is absolutely awesome. This tight is going to be sick. 2, 3, 4, 5. Hitch, ball. Look at that window. Basically non-existent. Just right on him. That is special. That is special, ladies and gentlemen. Then we got the Sutton TD. This one, you have to love the design of. You just have to. You've got, like, honestly, what you really have is 5 verticals, okay? So we got our vert out here. We've got our vert out here. Ingram working the center line just in case they gave us split safety, right? If they gave us split safety, you're going to want to try to hi-hat this thing into Ingram. Okay, then you've got Sutton, who's going to widen and slightly bend in. You've got your vertical out here. Look at Sutton widen this thing to get away from that center fielder, right? He's widening to get away from that center fielder. The only thing I would coach up a little bit more is Ingram a little bit more vertical to hold this guy. But Sutton widens. Bo puts a perfect bodied up throw on him. And that's how you convert the end of a 2-minute drive, which is just huge going into halftime. To make that play going into halftime is enormous. And then, of course, you're leaning on who's your best receiver, right? Your big body receiver. That is as good as it's going to get, in my opinion, to close out a half. Here we've got another one of those run adjust screens that I talked about, where you have the run play. And then what ends up happening is you get that defender off the edge and you just flip that thing out there, and look at that. Shoot, it's better than the run play, right? You end up throwing screen out to your receiver. Guess what? We end up generating way more yards than we would have on just a traditional run. As good as it gets. Look at that thing. That is awesome. That is so awesome. This one we've got late in the game, this to me is just a Franklin drop. Now, if you want to criticize Bo, this one falls into that category that we've been discussing, where he, in my opinion, climbs too hard in the pocket versus just like a smooth step up. He does a little bit of that takeoff. So if you want to criticize Bo, you can there. But what I'll tell you is at the end of it, we just have to catch that football. Like, there's nothing. You can say all you want about Bo. We need to make that play. Now, sure, you could say he could throw a better football too. I agree. But if you're going to hold your quarterback to the standard of he's got to be perfect, throw a perfect football, we also need to hold our receivers to the standard of just making a catch when the ball hits your hands. So this one, another just great recognition. You got cover 0. Nobody goes with the back. Great pitch and catch. Just great recognition. Realizing no one's going to go with our back on this. They're in straight up cover 0. They're trying to blitz us. Okay, I'll flip it out to him. A walk-in touchdown. Last thing I've got for you guys is the best clip in football, which is a little kneel down. So all in all, where do I see it? I honestly thought Bo Nix played a great game. So it felt like a little bit weird, I guess. I don't know. And I don't know why my camera's doing this. It's getting all blurry on me. Is it clear now? Okay. I thought Bo Nix played a good game. I really do. I thought he did a good job. Like, my biggest criticism, I think, was the boot play. But I thought it was a really efficient football game. I thought more or less he dominated. Now, I know that last week he struggled with some of the deep balls, but to me it was like I thought this offense operated at a high level. I get it that people are like, it's just the Bengals. To me, it's you can only play who's in front of you. I thought it was a great win for this offense, or I thought it was a great win for the team. I thought it was a great showing by the offense. So you guys comment below. You let me know what you thought. And until next time, peace.